You are watching The Rap Report, How to Get Away with Murder, Episode 9, Kill Me, Kill Me, Kill Me. I am your host, Sophia Stanley, joined by my fellow host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Cornelia.
And I am Bam Erickson.
We are going to jump right into Episode 9, Kill Me, Kill Me, Kill Me, the How to Get Away with Murder winter finale, which was absolutely phenomenal. I think we all have been talking about it since we first watched it, for most of us on Friday. Kind of before we even jump in, what were your overall thoughts? Kind of if you were to, in a snapshot or in a log line, what was your overall impression of this winter finale, Episode 9? Camelia?
It was not what I thought it would be. Meaning, it was great, but who I thought was responsible for killing Sam and what I thought happened, I was totally off. I was totally off, and I'm happy it went the way it did because it was good. It was really good.
I completely agree with that. How about you, Bam?
The first thing that pops into my mind is accept your a Golden Globe award, your SAG award, and your Emmy award, because I think hands down she is going to rack up in award season for 2015.
I 100% agree with you, Bam, and I'm just going to piggyback on that a little bit more. Her acting was so phenomenal, it almost made me sick. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, she was so convincing that I was having an emotional, visceral response to every scene she was in, as well as her ability to switch it up mid-scene and almost morph into someone else. I completely agree. Hands down, I think that her acting ability, obviously her training, the way she studies her craft for film, but more importantly, there was a theatrical element to it, almost Shakespearean, where I agree, Bam, if she doesn't sweep across the board, I will really question how we decide the best of the best of the best. Mm-hmm. But, okay, enough of our mutual unanimous adoration for Viola Davis. Let's get right into the beginning of the episode, and we open up basically with Annalise and Sam continuing their fight. That Annalise has now communicated to him that she is aware that he knew that Lila was pregnant, and basically she's had enough, and she has decided she no longer wants to be with him. She says she no longer loves him. She wants him out of the house, and if he does not leave, she will call 911. How did that make you feel as a viewer, that we have basically seen Annalise this entire time do everything to protect Sam, and this was the final point, or it seemed as if it was the breaking point, where she was finally confronting the full totality of what he had done, and she was no longer going to support him? How did that resonate with you guys?
Well, for me, if you keep lying and lying and lying and lying and lying, there's only so much that someone is going to take of you. It's like you lie, but not only do you lie, but you get caught lying. So lie, get caught. There's a reason. Lie, get caught again. There's another reason. Like this dude, he freaking lies after lie after lie after lie, and who wouldn't put up with somebody, or who wouldn't be tired after, 4 huge back to back lies?
So do you really think that it was, and jump in whenever you want, Cornelia, do you really think it was more the fact that he lied that upset her, more so than the actual acts that he committed?
I think it was both. I think, yeah, he keeps lying and he keeps lying. He's a bad dude. But I think it finally set in with her, and then the straw that broke the camel's back was Bonnie. So not only are you this bad dude, you slept with this girl, you got her pregnant, you may have killed her, you knew this whole time, you had me covering up for you, even though you didn't ask me to, but he didn't stop her. He never stopped her from covering this up. Now, you outside on the porch slobbing it down with one of my colleagues. This guy is just a bad dude. So I took it as she was just done. She was over it. She was done. And she was hurt. Because, you could be as strong as you want to, but when stuff like that keeps happening to you and you feel like you just can't catch a break, you're hurt about it. And she really showed that acting that she did with crying, and then when we choked her, that whole scene. I'm telling, that was like, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it.
Well, let's actually back up before that scene. How did you feel when she basically addressed him and she said, you know, and she admitted her truth in saying that she is fully aware that she thinks that she is purely window dressing, that she is his black wife to hide the pathetic man that he is, and the reason he had to kill Lila was because if it got out that not only he was cheating, but that he got this student pregnant, the entire facade of who he was would crumble, and she fully recognized that not only is she his credibility, but because of her color, it almost gives him a pass, and people automatically then think, oh, you're married to a black wife, what a great guy you are, therefore they assign other positive attributes to him and would never think that he was possibly this horrible person who not only is an adulterer, also sleeps with his students, and also possibly is a murderer. How did that resonate with you guys, especially the connotation of race in her statement, combined with the amazing way that she executed her lines?
You know, for me, I thought the dialogue between the two was really great because, well, actually, just really back up really quick. You know, when he was trying to get himself out of the lying, the way that he was doing it in such a pathetic way, like, wait, but what happened was, it's kind of one of those things, like when you do that to someone and you're lying about something and they know you're lying, there was a chord that I felt that he struck with Annalise, because after you've been confronted and then you're still trying to lie, there's like this look that she gave, and I felt like that was like the breaking point where she was like, okay, I'm ready to I'm done. But going back to what you were saying, Sophia, I thought the conversation was really powerful because they both knew how each other were. They both know how they were going to come into the situation. It's like, who can throw the hardest daggers? And she came with one, he came with one, and it was kind of like this whole back and forth thing. So I'm not going to defend Sam, but I could see why he went so hard at her to say, you know, the only reason I got with you was because of blah 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 blah, and you
because
were a good piece of ass. Because you're a good piece of ass. That was a great move to throw at her based on what he knew that she was going to come back with. Does that make sense? Because sometimes in an argument, it's not really about what the issue is. It's really about who can hurt who.
Right, and so you're saying that all bets were off and they were going to pull any potential dagger that they could, regardless of the impact. Is that what you're in essence saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, I completely agree with you, Bam, and I'm going to have to go like 100% real in our conversation with each other as well as with the viewers. Offline, I have been having several conversations specifically about the pairing of Sam and Annalise, okay? For two reasons. Sam, arguably, aesthetically, we have only seen one way, right? And he is portrayed as a fairly handsome professor where it would be reasonable for his students to find him attractive, number one. Number two, going back to the case with the investment banker, the way that she looked at her husband in the picture and was like, ooh, I would never walk straight, it also was saying that adult women would also find him attractive, correct? Now, Annalise, and I'm going to kind of call her Annalise when she's wearing her wig and she's fully made up, and I'm going to call her Anna when she is not necessarily wearing her wig, and I'm going to say when she also has absolutely no makeup and is stripped bare, right?
Like Anna Mae and Tina Turner.
Pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought of Tina Turner Anna Mae, you know, the way, I'm sorry.
No, I know, and I'm there with you, and we'll talk about that either more in the episode or more offline/online. But basically what it does for me is it makes me question, when I think of Anna, can I see Anna being with Sam? And I'm purely going off of aesthetics, and if anyone disagrees with me, please leave us comments on Google Plus or YouTube. Love hearing what you guys think and your viewpoints. But there seems to be a little bit of a mismatch, right? And to me, because of that mismatch, what the writers are trying to make us do is go, oh, look at Sam for being so forward thinking, to be in love with this woman, to see her natural beauty, to see her natural intelligence, so forth and so on, and look past possibly the fact that aesthetically they don't match up. And because of that, people are going to look at him almost as if he's a saint. She, in stating that, was basically saying, I understand the role I have played in allowing you to present to everyone else that you are different than you are. Number one. Number two, in that moment when basically he's strangling her and she says to kill me, the fact that the next place he goes after almost killing her is saying to her, the only reason I spoke to you at the office that day was because you were a piece of ass. I knew you would put out. All you're good for is dirty, nasty sex. To me, what they're playing on is old, stereotypical, racist notions of the only way that a white man could be attracted to a black woman. That there is no way that the attraction can be from a place of hate. There is no way the attraction could become from a place of love. The only reason that there is an attraction is because there is a primal animalistic instinct to have sex with that other person. Even going back to the whole even term jungle fever, as if someone has a sickness. To me, that's where the writers were going with that scene. Because that scene is so raw and so visceral that he almost kills her and then has the audacity to go, you're a piece of ass or so nasty that I couldn't even tell people about. But you were married to her for 20 years? That level of visceral hate, and even if it simply was a dagger, going there with that racial dagger spoke volumes to me. And for me, that's possibly was the last straw with Annalise. I'm going to talk out of the other side of my mouth further on in our discussion. But to me, that was the last straw when I think she purely saw who she had allowed herself to be. That she had allowed herself to be this window dressing. She had allowed herself to be used as a pawn, and that there was a racial construct to it that previously, when we had looked at Sam as this loving husband, when she removed her wig and removed her makeup and removed the facade and he kissed her on the neck, we all as viewers thought, oh my goodness, they're in a loving, intimate relationship. And juxtapose that against being in the hallway, strangling her, and after basically she asks you / begs you to kill her because she cannot believe she has put herself in this situation, you then further degrade her by calling her a dirty whore and basically saying all she's good for is rough, dirty, nasty sex. For me, I had a visceral reaction to that in such a way that I feel like the writers deserve an award because I think they touched upon things that we very rarely talk about in 2014, which obviously they're still there somehow because that's why they mentioned it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it speaks to more, well, not to more, also what type of man he is, because he knows what this has done to her. He knows how hurt she is about it, and he should know as a professional to defend someone, mainly because they're your husband, not because you think they're innocent or you really feel like they should be defended. He should know what this is doing. But after knowing all of that, to still feel like he has to say that and has to go there again, it just shows he is a dirtbag dude. He didn't have to say that. Not enough damage.
Bam, you're shaking your head. Speak on it.
So I have to disagree with you. I believe Sam loves Annalise, or did because he's dead. I believe Sam loved Annalise 2, 4, 10 times more than Annalise loved Sam. And let me explain that. She's very like in your face. Let's go back a couple episodes when again, yeah, he was lying. He was lying, and she made the comment about you're a white whore. Like she throws some pretty. I mean, she she goes for literally the throat anytime she's mad at him. You would think in their 20-year relationship. So anytime she's mad or she's pissed off, she's boom, she's right for the throat. She slices you, boom, you're dead. And that's how that's how I would think she comes at him every time they come into some confrontation. Now, mind you, yes, he's cheating and all those other things, but I do believe that Sam actually loves Annalise more. And even when he's doing other things like the touching of the neck, she's like, move, move, get off me, get off me. So I believe Sam loves her, really loves her, really loves Annalise. Now, brace yourselves. What I'm about to say. When he choked her, he wasn't gonna kill her. He was not gonna kill. He wasn't gonna kill her. It was more. It was in the heat of the moment, and he was trying to back her up against a wall to kind of bring her down a little bit.
Okay, but what made him stop? And the only reason I asked this is because it seemed as if the pressure that he was putting on her, his intention actually was to kill her. And that's why she said what she said, which goes back to the earlier statement that Sam said, that she's not this strong, independent woman that she presents to this world, that she really is a weak little girl who's pretending to be strong. Because in that moment when he was putting excess pressure on her neck, the way that he said, kill me, the third time, was so truthful and so as if he was literally and figuratively begging him to kill her, that he snapped back into reality, and he could not fathom that not only was he actually putting enough pressure on her neck to potentially kill her, but that her response was not to beg for her life, but her response was to say, that's when he backed up and said, you're a monster, because I think he was looking at himself, because he actually was putting enough pressure to kill her, and she basically said, kill me, because that's exactly what you're doing.
And again, I see it differently. It was when he's choking her and she's like, kill me, kill me, kill me. It's like the reverse psychology. They have this weird, crazy relationship. I mean, kind of like an Ike and Tina type thing where this is not the first time that they fought. This is not the first time that they've laid hands on each other. They have a very, very up and down relationship, and I don't think this is the first time that they fought, and I don't think this is the first time that he's actually had to either choke her or to shake her. I don't think this is the first time.
But then what kind of, so really, then why are we even doing this in regards to their relationship? Because ain't nobody ever choked me. She gets cheated on. He made her do, well, he didn't make her again. She is basically volunteering to defend him. He put her through hell. He has had affairs before, because the way she reacted, you can tell, like, she's like, I'm tired of this. You're not going to keep sleeping with these chicks. And now he be choking her too? Like come on. So, like, when does it stop?
I totally agree, and we can again have this conversation offline. But to me, it's a matter of semantics. So to me, your intent doesn't need to be able to kill me. The minute you put hands on me, it is plausible that the next action is that you can kill me, right? Whether or not your intent was to severely hurt me or your intent was to kill me, it's semantics. Now, we can offline have a legal discussion about the difference between that, but I completely agree with Cornelia. The fact that he felt so visceral enough to choke her in order to, quote-unquote, communicate with her, I don't buy that, number one. Number two, again, I think that there isn't an irony with the fact that he was choking her and that Lila was also. Obviously, in the back 6 episodes, we'll probably learn more about Lila's murder, but again, it's not a coincidence that he tried to choke Lila. That's why he brought up his Lila, were you turned on by this? Which in of itself is disgusting, but again, points to, I do agree with you, Bam, they have a twisted relationship, but more so, point out to that he was at some level getting a high off of choking his wife. But, you know, let's move on because obviously it was enough of a visceral reaction that she left the house. She leaves the house, and the first thing we see is Rebecca across the street. And I think we all know that this is not going to go well. And then, you know, we have Michaela come into the room or come into the house, and she's talking to Sam, and she's basically saying, like, oh, you know, I need to give her the trophy. And Sam's basically like, I think you should leave. Annalise, here, jump in, Sam, jump in.
These kids have more nerve than the law allows. Michaela walks into the house. She's not here. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to wait for her. You are crossing so many boundaries. Get your ass out of my house. That whole situation could have been avoided. But the kids they're not kids, they're law students. They're the cause of this whole entire thing. Selfishness, egoness, and wanting to get their way. You're not only okay. I understand that you have this whole thing with the competition and the trophy out and all these other things, but the reality is, Annalise is married. This is her house and business, and when she's not there, you don't like. What woman would want to sit in a house with a married man and say you're going to wait like that? You're crossing so many lines and so many boundaries that whole thing could have been prevented, but of course it's not, because we wouldn't be talking about it. But Michaela totally crossed the line, and I wish Sam would have had the balls to just call the police or say, get out, go.
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, ironically, he wasn't given the opportunity, because then we quickly, the camera pans to Rebecca. Michaela, in her infinite wisdom, decides to say something about Rebecca being in the house. Sam wonders or questions what's going on and now thinks that Michaela is somehow also involved. And then Rebecca, in her infinite wisdom, prior to running up the stairs, tells Michaela to call Wes. I agree with you, Bam. I was literally thinking to myself, so much of this could have been avoided by Michaela not being there for her, of picking up on social cues. For Rebecca, why would you want to enter the house without waiting until Sam wasn't there? Like, who does that? Like, who thinks that they're just gonna, like, her and her little self, who obviously, and I'm being a little bit, you know, facetious and condescending on purpose, but like, you don't have a black belt, you don't have a gun, you don't know, you know, how to defend yourselves against a man who is significantly stronger than you. You think you're just going to enter his house, go in his room, and copy his files while he's there? It didn't make sense to me. However, it did, given what we know about Rebecca. There's something about Rebecca where her sense of logic and her sense of common sense isn't there, and she's in her own world. So it may be even the character that they've developed, but I still was like, this is some BS.
I don't think she's the type of person who has had to have common sense or has had to use logic. She's a young coke dealer who pretty much gets to bop around and do whatever she wants. Maybe she had a hard life and she's doing it because she really needs money. Or maybe she's doing it just because she feels like she's that girl who I like to party and I want everybody to party and I want to be the go-to girl. The fact that she's that way tells me she never had to have common sense, because she's always gotten by just being this smart ass. A lot of people get by with being smart asses, and it seems like she thinks that's going to carry her in every situation. It's like the way she walked in and she saw Sam there, she saw Michaela, and she still ran up the stairs. She didn't turn around, walk away, and was like, oh, my bad, Annalise isn't here, cool. No, she just started through the house like, oh, well. To me, she did that because she feels like she can do that.
Okay.
I agree, and not only that, but then this is where Sam annoyed me, because when she got into the room, he basically allowed. I'm sorry, I would have got a gun. I would have shot all of them. I would have killed them all.
Oh my.
I would have
Okay,
had a gun. I would have shot them
I'm
all.
not disagreeing with you, Bam, but let's assume he doesn't have a gun, right? Let's because it's not as if he just allowed her. Like he was aggressively trying to enter the room, so much so that he actually was able to physically break the door open, right?
Mhm.
Not only was he able to break the door open, but he actually said he might call the police. I'm not sure about that, you know what I mean? But it wasn't as if he was just sitting there allowing this all to happen in his defense.
I would have shot him dead.
Well, what do you guys think that of the fact that when Michaela called Wes, that Wes advised her not to leave versus advising her to call the police? Did that rub you guys the wrong way? Did it kind of bypass you guys and you guys didn't really think about it? How do you
Well,
feel about the fact that Wes said don't leave versus telling her to call the police?
well, I don't think Sam killed Lila. I think Rebecca killed Lila. That's just my personal opinion. And so it made sense for Wes to say not to call the police because he's a chicken head. He will save her. He will do anything
Okay,
possible.
I'm gonna cut you off on purpose, Bam. Do you think Wes thinks that Rebecca killed Lila, or do you think Wes thinks that Sam killed Lila?
Wes thinks that Sam killed Lila because Rebecca has him thinking that.
Okay, so but technically, from Wes's perspective, Wes is doing what's right because Wes thinks that Sam killed Lila and that Rebecca is being falsely accused.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Do you just see the little bit of a distinction? Because we may know, but Wes isn't aware. So do you think that Wes thinking that Sam is the one who killed Lila was right or ethical or moral in saying for Michaela to stay and technically protect Rebecca, or do you think he should have told her to call the police because there is no way that Michaela could have protected Rebecca in that situation?
You know what? You make a good point. I do wonder why not call the police.
Because he's Wes. You know, Wes this whole time thinks he's RoboCop. He thinks he's RoboCop. He thinks he's Rebecca's work dad. He really thinks he is the end all be all in regards to protecting her. When something goes wrong, he's the first, like, are you okay? Is everything okay? When she does something that he doesn't like, he throws his hissy fit and has these talks like, you should have told me first, or why didn't you tell me? I think in his mind, maybe sure he should have said call the police, but he's the type who feels like he can do everything on his own. That's why this whole scene, when he finally got to the house, he was at the door like, Rebecca, I'm here now. So, like, what are you gonna do? Sam could have mopped the floor with this little kid, but Wes still being Wes, thinking he RoboCop. He's like, everything's fine. What did you do? Like, he came and I'm over him. That's why he told Michaela to stay there, because Wes really thinks he has everything under control. He really thought he was going to come in that house, shut it down, get Rebecca out. Everything was going to be fine. They were just going to keep driving off because his love for Rebecca is so amazing and strong.
I just have to agree with you on every point that you made. So when all of a sudden everything gets intense and, Rebecca finally leaves the bathroom, Sam asks her what she did, she says she didn't find anything, and she starts to walk away, and then Sam lunges at her and grabs the thumb drive, and there is chaos, everyone's jumping on Sam. Wes tells Laurel to grab the thumb drive, Laurel actually grabs the thumb drive, Laurel starts to run out of the room, Sam is running after her, Michaela is in the way, and Michaela kind of does one of these, like, almost push motions, almost steps out of the way, and Sam completely goes over the railing from the second floor and onto the first floor, and we think he's dead. I'll be honest with you, I was like, oh my God. I didn't see that coming. We've talked online, offline about how he really died, how it went down, who was involved. In that moment, I was absolutely stunned. However, I did think, oh my God, self-defense. Like, I literally was like yelling at the TV. I was like, oh, no, 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 it's all okay. It's self-defense. I quickly realized I was wrong for a multitude of reasons. However, at that immediate instance, I was like, ooh, it's self-defense. And then I thought, they have now made everything worse based on what we've known up until this point, that we think, okay, he fell over the railing, he was coming at Laurel, or he was coming at Michaela, it was purely self-defense. They then took his body and burned it and cut it up or whatever they were going to do. I was like, oh my God, why did they do that? And then obviously the scene goes somewhere else. But before we go there, they're all having a discussion of what they should do, thinking that Michaela killed him. Connor is basically saying it's totally Michaela's fault. Michaela is saying, no, it was self-defense. I was defending Laurel. Laurel agrees. Wes is trying to calm them all down. Wes is basically saying we can just leave right now. You know, nobody knows that we're here. He was drunk. He just fell. How did you guys feel about the students turning on each other, Wes being so calm, and the entire situation up until that point that we think that Sam is dead from falling over the railing?
Well, that was very common to blame each other because they have yet to learn to become friends. They still feel that they're in competition because of this damn trophy idol. So everyone's in competition, and everyone wants to, always want to be higher up on the steps. So it's natural for them to continue to blame each other. Even through all of this and what they're going through, they still take daggers and things at each other, and they still have yet to form a bond to become friends, which is ironic. Normally you would think that when you do such a thing like, kill a person, everyone would kind of be on one accord and you get your story straight and everyone's together. But they're still like cackling hands at each other.
Okay, I agree with you, Dan. No, go ahead, Keelia.
I can see that perspective. However, if someone dies and you didn't even want to be there in the first place, you're not going to be that willing to go along with the story or be friends or work together to, to get out of it. When low key, if you really didn't have nothing to do with it, you could just bounce, call the police, and be like, I didn't have nothing to do with it. So I think, yes, well, because they weren't friends. However, a few of them weren't even in on it. Wes was the problem, Rebecca was the problem, and Michaela got looped in because she didn't want to leave the house. But everybody else, they just came in on the back end, and now they are part of a murder that they didn't even have want to be a part of. So if it were me, I probably would have been, bumping heads with whoever else, because we're in this same class together and we work together, and I just happened to be riding with the car in the car with you, and I got out the car to see what was happening. Now I'm a murderer. Like, that's messed up.
Yeah. I completely agree with you guys. Do you think that it was rather quick thinking of Laurel, given the fact that, just like you said, Cornelia, arguably Laurel and Connor and Michaela were not a part of this plan, right? However, Laurel is the first one to basically say, we actually do need to band together, and the reason that we need to band together is we basically could all be liable. And the reason that we all could be liable is because it's felony murder. And she basically broke down the fact that the felony is the fact that Rebecca broke into his house, we all broke into his house, tried to steal his files, and in pursuit of that felony, a murder was committed, which means that we're all tied into the overall crime. And do you think that that was kind of like a rare piece of logic and a rare piece, despite what we're saying, that they would not band together because they're in competition? Do you think it was a rare moment where she basically was like, no, whether or not we like it or not, we need to actually stop pointing fingers at each other because we're all going down for this. So we either all need to cover it up or we all need to call the police.
Perfect. You hit it. That was it. Yep, totally.
All right, well, we're going to fast forward a little bit, and then, Wes, as always, brings up Rebecca yet again, and I'm not sure how you guys felt about it, but I was, and go ahead, Bam, in 2 seconds, I was like, are you kidding me with this Rebecca bullshit again? But then, go ahead, Bam, if you want to jump in.
Well, what seemed not real is after Sam not just falls, but he leaps over the flight. He leaps over the banner, and he falls down he falls down the flight of stairs, and boom, he lands on his face. Yet 2-3 minutes later, he's up, he's strong, and he's choking the shit out of Rebecca. You're no, homie. That for me seemed a little more TV than reality. I don't
Yeah.
believe that he was able to get up after flying over the banter upstairs like Superman, landing on your face, and you're in a puddle of blood, and now you up and you strong, and now you choking this little girl.
Yeah, it was very TV or movie. Like, Misery when dude tried to escape and he tried to kill Kathy Bates and she came back to life. He had to hit her in the head with the pig. It was like that.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, as far as writing wise, I think it was smart because to make people think just for 3 minutes that Michaela actually killed Sam, and then to now go and change it. That's great writing. But reality wise, nah, Sam, you dead.
I'm not even, I can argue something, I'll argue it offline. But okay, so, in that moment when he's strangling Rebecca, and I think that we can clearly all agree in this instance, his intent was to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
And Laurel is screaming basically for someone to do something, and we see, obviously, that it's the trophy. Or I think at that moment, from a camera perspective, we didn't know it was a trophy, but I think given everything else, we realized it was a trophy. Somebody takes the trophy and smacks him over the head. We see Rebecca is splattered with blood, and of course, in perfect TV world, they end the scene there and they go to commercial. We come back from commercial, and the camera so perfectly pans. I think the order was it went Laurel, Connor, Wes, and then Wes holding the trophy. At that moment, were you surprised? Were you not surprised? Cornelius, make your case.
Of course it was Wes. Of course it was work, Dad. Yeah, somebody had to do something because he was going to kill her. So either they had to hit him in the head, grab him by the neck, pull him down, it would have been a fight. Sam was going to kill somebody that night. Because crazy people do that. Like, that's what happens. However, when they showed Wes holding the trophy, the first thing I did here at home, I was like, it had to be Wes. Here we go with work, Dad. Of course he had to be the one to do it. I was not surprised. I was surprised. But when I saw him, I was like, yeah, of course it was. Because you're not going to kill the love of his life. Or, the person he feels like he is responsible for. Because it's now starting to be like this creepy, I have to take care of you type of relationship. So I wasn't surprised. I was annoyed because of him.
How about you, Bam?
So what? Who cares? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think this entire time about it being Wes. And then after you think it's Michaela and then it's really Wes, I was like, oh, damn it. Like, they really tricked us. But it makes sense that he's the killer. And it makes sense that, the ending and why those two are so bonded together when I'm speaking of Annalise and Wes. So, yeah.
Okay, real quick, I just need to give a shout out. All of you out there who left YouTube comments or Google comments who perfectly figured out that it was Michaela/Wes, you get the trophy. So if any of you guys had guessed that it was Wes, you, in my mind, as Professor Stanley, am giving you the trophy because a lot of you who have left comments on our rap report on our YouTube page, you guys somehow knew. My hat goes off to you, and I literally and figuratively hand you the trophy. Now back to Wes. So Wes now calmly decides that he's going to clean off Rebecca, and he's cleaning her off, and as she stands up and says, thank you, they kiss. Was I the only one who was disgusted and threw up in my mouth a little bit? Or am I being overly dramatic?
No, I wasn't disgusted, but I was like, oh, this little.
But I mean, they literally were doing a traumatic situation. He just killed someone with his bare hand, and they're playing kissy face while they still have blood on them in the bathroom.
I blame him more than her because one, she was really distraught though, most of the time. But he kind of had this look on his face like I told you I was supposed to take care of you, or like I told you I'd be there for you. I think he was more satisfied with the fact that he finally proved her right, that he could be there for her and he really was her protector or savior. I think that was my problem with him because
Okay.
I didn't take it as kissing like he was really being there for her. I feel like it was like a self-serving pat on the back. I finally get to protect somebody because remember he said he had the issue with his mom. She tried to commit suicide. I took it as him like I finally saved someone, or I told you I could be there for you. I told you I could protect you and you can rely on me. It was gross, but again, Wes he's weird.
I think that's an absolutely excellent point. That's just spot on. How do you guys feel? I'm going to fast forward in the scene. So they're downstairs again, and all of a sudden Asher is outside. He thinks and or knows that they're inside. They're all on the ground hiding from him, and one of them suggests, well, and I think it could have been Connor, suggests that they should actually have Asher come in. Rebecca then says, yeah, maybe we can have him stand in the blood. And Laurel co-signs and says, yes, we should actually get him involved. Are they wrong in trying to completely after the fact, the only person who had absolutely nothing to do with this situation, are they wrong for wanting to get him involved? Because arguably he has the most financial resources as well as the most legal resources, that if in fact they are all culpable, that it is more likely for him to get off because of who his father is, and therefore they would all get off. Or do you think that is completely selfish and self-serving? Were they right, or were they wrong, or is it somewhere in between?
Hell no, they're not wrong. A murder has happened. I'm thinking in a selfish way. If I am a part of this murder, no, I have no convictions. I'm an innocent person, and now I'm a part of a murder, and I'm already a part of a selfish group because they're all selfish towards each other. Of course, I would think, okay, let's point the finger at him, because everyone wants to save their butt. So if I'm one of them, I would absolutely try and throw him under the bus and save my ass. Absolutely, I would do it if I was one of them.
Okay, I'll be honest with you.
You're looking like.
Well, no, your argument is valid. I cannot find fault at your argument. However, God willing, I will never be in this situation, but I would hope that I have enough conviction that someone who actually had no part in it, that not only would I want to then bring it up, someone who is 100% innocent, into the filth or the bullshit that I created, number one, but number two, to think that then he's not going to sell me out. So meaning I had absolutely nothing to do with it. You guys then consciously are going to allow me to step in this situation, because to me, the only reason that I could argue that none of their actions were wrong is because there was no conscious thought, right? So for instance, when Michaela pushes Sam over the banister, it was not her intention to push him over the banister. It was her intention to simply either defend Laurel, get out of the way. He was coming at her. That is a normal, natural reaction to kind of step out of the way. Arguably, Wes hitting Sam while he is technically and literally in the act of killing Rebecca, again, it's not a conscious thought. It's unconscious. Anyone would think, oh my God, I have to stop this from happening. I hit him over the head. Those, to me, I can excuse. I cannot excuse you consciously thinking, in order to save my own ass, I am consciously going to allow someone who had nothing to do with it, who is simply coming because one of us stole the trophy, that I am then going to allow them to be party to this? No. In that moment, I was like, okay, no, whatever happens after this, you guys deserve it, because that's a different moral question that I necessarily, the answer that they came to, I cannot side with. Now, again, we're all human beings, and even kind of I think earlier in the conversation with Annalise and Sam, she basically said something to the effect of everyone is violent given the chance. I think that's what you're speaking on, Bam. So yeah, I don't know if I would be that moral to not want to save myself enough to bring him into it. But from an intellectual perspective, I would hope that I would.
Well, I'll say this. Who do they work for? Annalise. And what does Annalise teach them? How to get away with murder.
I can't. I'm just going to let you have that. So okay, let's fast forward. So we're gonna fast forward, and I'm gonna quickly on purpose kind of jump over Bonnie, and we'll kind of jump back to Bonnie. So we're gonna go through the hotel room, and we're gonna go straight to the woods because I think that Bam's comment that they work for Annalise, and Annalise in essence is teaching them how to get away with murder, and they're having a discussion of what they're going to do. So they're basically having a discussion. You know, Wes has gone back, grabbed the trophy. Said sorry, he brought the trophy to the rest of them, and they're basically like, what? And now they're having a discussion of why he brought the trophy. And I think it was Laurel again brings up that she actually cites the case that someone was able to get away with murder because they had no weapon, right? So without a weapon, they can't prove what happened. And then come up with the idea to go back to Sam's body because we need to get rid of Sam's body. Again, like you said, Bam, how to get away with murder. No body, no crime, habeas corpus like we learned in another episode. And then again, Laurel, and I think you guys see where I'm going with Laurel. Laurel also comes up with this brilliant idea that the bonfire will be their alibi. So we have the culmination of all of that, and they're not quite sure what they're going to do, and they're basically going to decide what they're going to go back for the body. And Wes says, all right, well, we'll flip a coin. Heads, we go back for the body. Tails, we do not. They all agree. Wes flips the coin. Up in the air, back down. Tails, he says it's head. And they go into surprise, not surprise. Go ahead, Bam.
I'm not surprised because we've seen this flashback a couple episodes ago, but I can't figure out why he figured they should go back for the body, except for he simply just thinks, I don't know. It's unless he thinks that. I mean, I do agree with Wes. They should have taken the body, burned it, got rid of it. They should have taken the clothes to the
incinerator.
Yeah, Wes was on point about that. So besides the fact that he's right, that's what they should have done. I feel like there's more motive to why he did it, and we're gonna find out. I don't know why. I don't have answers yet, but I feel that there was a reason beyond that he was right.
Well, I think he took the body. Well, I think the flip coin and take the body thing. Once we saw what happened at the end and who was there watching,
yes,
he had to take the body.
Because Annalise told him. Because Annalise probably told him, "Yep, hot damn, good job."
Or we don't know if they had a real discussion. What she told him to do or how to fix the problem. However, it would have been easy for all of them, Annalise included, for them to get the body out of there. Because if not, then you have the body inside the house. You still have all the blood. You still have the balcony. It could be blood on the balcony. There's blood in 2 different places on the floor because when he first hit the floor and then when he got up, choked the old girl, and then now he hit the floor right then again. There's too much going on in there for them to come in with the body still there. They would have figured it out. But now, take the body out, burn it, or do whatever you're doing with it, clean the blood up, and like we saw, we'll just say that he's missing. So it was smart for him to do the whole flip the coin thing and you know, and take the body out. It just sucks that they don't know that Annalise knows as well. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? Let's speak on that now. Let's kind of fast forward a little bit because, you know, we obviously know the conclusion, and I think that it is and maybe not. I think it's glaringly obvious that there were two huge mistakes made. One of the mistakes was not on purpose, Michaela's ring, and I don't know if anyone knows, and I don't know the actual term, but every diamond, at least bought legally, has a serial number of its, not only of its place of origin to make sure that it's not a theoretic blood diamond, but also it can trace back to whoever purchased the ring. So I think that is a problem. And number two, just like I think you both said, Wes, regardless of whether or not it was Wes thinking this or it was Wes following Annalise's instructions, was actually perfectly doing things to potentially get away with murder, right? However, the fact that at the very end they did not follow his instruction and they dumped the body parts, all of the body parts, in one trash container and didn't, in fact, take it to an incinerator to actually 100% get rid of not only the body, but to get rid of all evidence, minus the diamond, but we'll talk about that offline. How did you guys feel when we then kind of very quickly realized, oh my goodness, flash back to the scene, he again goes back to the house, he picks up the trophy and he goes, I'm so sorry, and all of a sudden we see that Annalise is in the room and she goes, I'm not. Were you blown away? And I'm asking and I'm stating at the same time. I was beyond blown away. I was like, this. I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Go ahead, Camille.
I was blown away because, let's say I walk in and I see my husband, boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever, dad, cousin, Uncle Tony, laying on the ground dead. For me to be able to just sit there right in front of the body, no telling how long she would have been sitting there if Wes wouldn't have came back. She didn't panic. She wasn't on the phone calling the police. She wasn't running around the house distraught. She was just sitting there like, oh, well, somebody got him. Good for him. She wasn't doing nothing. For her to just be sitting there like that, I was like, oh, she done lost. She really did lose it. She really is over it, and she really don't give a damn.
And I'll disagree with you just a little bit. I don't think that it was she didn't give a damn. You remember, she teaches people how to get away with murder. This is not the first time that she's been at a crime scene or seen blood. She's a thinker. Remember, she literally thinks before she speaks, which a lot of us don't do. She literally thinks before she speaks. So she was probably sitting there in the moment trying to figure out things, and she's not someone who reacts. She has to kind of sit, think for a second, and figure out who would win, where, why. And who's to say that as soon as she was trying to come up with something, that Wes, came in. For me, what was weird, and this is just me as a filmmaker, the shot. It seemed as if the shot seemed weird. It seemed like she was maybe out on a green screen, and she was inserted into the shot.
What do you mean by that, Bam?
Meaning that the distance between where Wes was and where Annalise was, they made it seem like the shot was a lot further than what it was. And then when you see her, it was like all this white. She literally. Have you ever seen like ghosts or something when dead people are on Earth, but they're interacting with humans? She looks like a dead person sitting in a chair, and like you turn around and you think you see your Aunt Lulu who's been dead for 20 years. That's what that scene looked like for me. I don't know if it was on purpose or what, but it was distracting for me.
Interesting. I'm definitely going to rewatch it with that in mind and see if I can see what you're doing, and you guys out there do the same thing. I'm going to do a quick sidebar. We're going to, for the interest of time, we're going to talk about these three subjects with you guys offline for the interest of time. Annalise and Nate, we're going to talk about offline. Michaela and Mrs. Walker regarding the prenup, we're going to talk about that offline, as well as Bonnie and Asher and the possible implications of that as it pertains to the murder. Let's talk about that offline during the winter break. However, The reason that I disagree with you, Bam, regarding the fact that Anna or Annalise is a thinker and that she's a professional and that she has been trained to be in this situation. Mm. She is still an emotional person and extremely emotional, specifically as it pertains to her husband. Mm-hmm. If I'm getting the order of events correct, when she makes that voicemail call, or let me back up, when she's sitting at the desk, she doesn't have her coat on, right? But when she makes the voicemail call to Sam, she has her coat on. So I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, that the voicemail happens before she realizes that Wes was a party to this murder, right? Mm-hmm. And I could be wrong because I don't know if it's possible for her to walk in and walk past a dead body. But again, for this moment, I'm going to say that they're not in sequence, even though they probably weren't. The manner in which, if in fact she made the call before she knew Sam was dead, her speech, like, I was so upset. I was like, I don't understand how you are begging this asshole to come back to you. I don't understand how you are basically like, we built a life together, which to me is obviously bullshit. That you are basically like, simply because we know each other and we've been through good times and bad times, and because I'm your wife, I need you to come back to me because I love you. I'll stand by you through anything. I was so upset. I basically was like, I cannot believe that she just had the scene that she had with her husband, potentially piggybacking on what you said, Bam, that they've had these types of violent interactions before, that she then would beg for him back in the way that she did. I was disgusted. But then I was like, oh, is she setting up her alibi? So when they check the voicemail, is he literally laying the base so that when they think he has ran off because he is afraid of being convicted of murder, that she was the dutiful wife, and that there is absolutely no way that she could have anything to do with it because of the voicemail that she left? Either way, her acting was amazing. Like, because to this day, it's been 3 days since I first saw the episode, and I'm still upset. And she's not real. She's not a real person, and I am upset as if it is my girlfriend or my best friend who is going back to an abusive relationship despite the fact that she is intelligent, independent, and all of these things, but somehow feels such a low self-esteem that she feels that she needs this man to love her and needs this man who is a potential murderer simply because they're married. I'm not sure how it resonated with you. I think it's obvious how it resonated with me. Regardless of whether or not it was an alibi, then it was brilliant. And if it was not an alibi, there's a part of me that's disgusted.
I think it was all an alibi. I'm going with that.
Okay.
Because she even looped in Nate with it. And yes, if it comes down to it, it could make her look a certain way because she was having an affair. But at least somebody knows where she was. So we saw her go to the police station, sit outside the police station. I don't know if she sat outside the police station before she saw his body or after, but she was there. There's cameras outside the police station. Then she, not saying if she did the voicemail before or after that, but she made a phone call and she went over his house. He was sleeping. He don't know what time she left. So somebody knows where she is. They got her on phone and they got her actually driving around somewhere. So I think it was all an act. I took it as that was a performance. She knew exactly what she was doing because she knows she has to be somewhere, and it can't just be I made a call, because she could have made a call right there standing in front of the body. But the fact that she was over Nate's house, was driving around, to me that looped it all in, and I thought she did it on purpose. I took it that way.
Great points. Question, you guys. Nate's wife is in the hospital. Nate wanted Annalise to sleep over and cuddle or do whatever you do. And while he was asleep, she got up, she threw the clothes on, and she bounced. I didn't think of it until now you guys are making these statements. What do you think about that in regards to her popping up and putting her clothes on and getting out the house as quick while he was asleep. Do you think that was a coincidence? And then she goes and finds out what's going on? Or do you think that she knew something, or just, I don't know, what do you guys think
Sam,
about
are you basically saying that even though we think that everything went in sequence, because we talked about it a little bit offline, that this was the first time that the episode kind of went in actual logical, chronological sequence? Are you asking basically, is it plausible that after going to the police station, she actually went back to the house, saw that Sam was dead, and then went to Nate's house for an alibi and then left? Is that what you're asking?
That is correct. I was about to say, your judge, Your Honor. Yes.
Well, you know what? I think that is an excellent question to pose to our viewers. Do you think that the sequence was how we saw it, or do you think that Annalise was aware that her husband was dead prior to going to Nate? And if so, if that was her setting up an alibi? Or do you think that she went to Nate's house first, came home, but had to do the voicemail for an alibi because other people knew where she was? Or do you think that the voicemail was pure, she did not know that her husband was dead, and that was actually her true thought, and she really did and does still love Sam and was actually pouring out her heart and begging for him to come back? Please let us know either by leaving a YouTube comment or a comment on Google+. We love to hear your thoughts, and definitely, whatever you decide, make your case and make it strong. So you guys, let's go to the final scene. Go ahead, Bam. Do you want to say something before we go on to the final scene?
No, but before we do, I just want to mention the tweet from the acknowledgement from Viola Davis.
Oh my God! Of course. You want to do that right now, or do you want to do it after we do the final scene?
I'll do it after. I'll do it after.
Okay, perfect. We'll wrap up with that because that is absolutely amazing. So the final scene, basically, everyone is in their separate locations, and everyone gets a text from Bonnie that they all need to return to the scene of the crime. And they're all there, and just, I'm going to use Bam's term, these little kids are sitting there talking about the murder they just committed and whether or not they're about to be found out. And Bonnie communicates to them that Annalise needs to speak to them, that something has gone on, and she needs to speak directly to them. There's a knock on the door. They say that must be the police. Annalise walks out in her robe, and again, this is their professor that they're normally used to seeing only one way. Annalise walks out, no wig, no makeup, in her robe, visibly shaken and visibly upset, and communicates to them that her husband had been having an affair with Lila. They'd gotten into a horrible fight. She is worried about him. She doesn't know where he is, and that the police will have questions for them because they worked on Lila's case, and she asked them to be truthful. And she then restates that and looks directly at Wes, which is when we then realize that Annalise was aware that they were involved, and that when Wes came back to get the trophy, Wes confirms to her that basically he will be honest. And then we have end scene. How is that for you guys?
Go ahead, Cornelia.
I wasn't surprised, and I took that again as her, as Annalise being an actress. Yes, I think she's really upset and hurt by what happened. But what better way, after you made this voicemail call, you went in with Nate, after doing all of this, she has to continue on with this facade, like, I'm really distraught. So which way do you show people you're distraught? By being so hurt that you don't have time to even think or care if your hair, your wig is on, to put some clothes on. You don't care who's here. My husband is missing, and I miss him so much, and I'm worried I still got my robe on. I was like, she really driving this home. She is driving this home. Yeah, I think she's sad and hurt about it. But I think she also knows that she has to play this performance.
Cornelia, that's a good point, that she had to do all of that, because I was going to say that, okay, I get the point that she's trying to make about the wig and the makeup. I was going to say, knock it off. Okay, you did it once or twice. Oh. Knock it off. I'm done with all this. But you make a good point. And so because of her having to really draw on the fact that, she's, oh, my husband, it makes sense. But had you not said that, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this whole now wig, knock it off. So I'm gonna take it back. I'll save it for episode 10, 11 if she do it again. But good point, Cornelia. For me, those students, those kids, they need to learn to shut the hell up. You are inside the office and you're whispering and you're having conversations about the murder and this and this and shut your ass up. Do you not watch the movies? Do you not watch Dear Presidents when everybody decides that they're going to make a pact? Shut up. They're going to be they're going to be the downfall of why all hell breaks loose, starting with why they didn't burn the clothes. Shut up and start listening to each other.
I actually have nothing to say other than I second what both of you guys said. I think that, you know, we will have more than enough to talk about during winter break. I think that How to Get Away with Murder comes back January 29th. So during the break, again, make your case on anything that we have brought up, either on today's rap report, on previous rap reports, or any question or outstanding issue that you have with How to Get Away with Murder. Make sure that you make your case. We love the dialogue. We love the conversation. You know, I think that the writers do an excellent job of tying up loose ends while at the same time posing new questions for us to really have an absolutely amazing conversation. And we've enjoyed doing the rap report with you for episodes 1 through 9, and we look forward to seeing you guys on the back end. But let's quickly just talk about a little bit of news and gossip in the Twitterverse. Go ahead, Bam.
So it was probably maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I was tweeting, you know, I had my pizza in the oven, I had my snacks, my popcorn, and literally within the first 3 minutes, my pizza was already gone because I was just like this. And so one of the tweets that I tweeted, I said hashtag WTF, the ending to at How to Get Away with a Murder ABC, hashtag How to Get Away with Murder winter finale was off the hook, and then I added Viola Davis's Twitter name, and then I did the hashtag for Alfred's name, who plays Wes, and she favored and she retweeted, and I was like, hey. So I was, you know, thank you, Viola. If you happen to watch the rap report with us, thank you for retweeting and favoring. It really means a lot to us because, you know, it shows us that you care, that we're so involved in your new show. So we wish the best of luck with you guys, and we really hope that. Well, do you hope that it stays at 15 episodes, or do you wish it
I do, actually. Yeah. Real quick, I do, because I think that it makes for a more tight, compact story versus the normal 23-episode show. I think that there's a difference in the rhythm, and I like the rhythm that they're going, and I like knowing that we're at the halfway mark. Yeah.
I totally agree, and the fact that they're waiting so long for it to bring it back on the 29th, with 6 episodes, they can go to March, so the season's almost over. So I think it's great, and I hope that they stay at 15.
Exactly, but I and Cornelia, you know, mirror your sentiments about Viola, and I think that it does show that they're actively involved in making sure that we know that they appreciate that we watch the show, and I feel the same way for you viewers that watch the rap report. Every time you leave a comment and every time you rate, it shows us that you're watching. It shows us that you're interested in the dialogue. So again, during winter break, please share with your friends that we do the rap report for How to Get Away with Murder for episodes 1 through 9. Make your comments, make your case, agree with us, disagree with us, but no matter what, make your case and make it a strong one. So again, thank you so very much for watching the rap report, How to Get Away with Murder, episode 9, Kill Me, Kill Me, Kill Me. Where can they find you guys during the winter break to continue this conversation?
You can find me online, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Cornelia.
And you can find me at all social media at Bam Erickson, so you guys can tweet to me in regards to How to Get Away with Murder. I'll be also in some film and TV and some commercials, so just follow me and find out what I'm doing, and I'll be more than happy to share. We can have a conversation.
Perfect. And you guys can find me on Twitter as well as Facebook at Sophia Stanley. And again, thank you so much. You've been watching the Rap Report, How to Get Away with Murder. Bye.